Marcus Chen had built Tech Global Industries from a small startup in his garage to a multinational corporation worth over $2 billion. At 52, he was known throughout the business world for his sharp mind, innovative strategies, and ability to spot talent where others saw ordinary people. His company had offices in 12 countries, employed over 15,000 people, and was expanding rapidly into emerging markets across Asia, Africa, and South America. Every morning at exactly 6:30, Marcus would arrive at the gleaming 40-story headquarters building in downtown Seattle. He preferred to start his day early, before the rush of meetings, conference calls, and critical decisions that filled his schedule. The building would be quiet at that hour, with only a few dedicated employees and the overnight security staff present. For 3 years, Marcus had noticed the same security guard at the front desk during his early arrivals. The man appeared to be in his mid-30s, always impeccably dressed in his uniform, with kind eyes and a warm smile. His name tag read, David Rodriguez, and he greeted everyone with genuine politeness and professionalism. Marcus appreciated that David always had his security badge ready and knew him by sight, making the morning routine smooth and efficient. What Marcus didn't know was that David had been carefully observing him as well. David had noticed that the CEO often carried different newspapers and business magazines, sometimes in languages other than English. He had observed Marcus taking phone calls in what sounded like Mandarin Chinese, and once overheard him speaking what seemed to be German to a colleague. David found it fascinating but never felt it was appropriate to comment or ask questions. On a particularly busy Tuesday morning in October, Marcus was rushing through the lobby while simultaneously taking an urgent call from their manufacturing partner in Brazil. The conversation was heated, conducted entirely in Portuguese, and involved a critical production delay that could cost the company millions of dollars. Marcus was gesticulating as he spoke, his voice rising with frustration as he tried to resolve the complex logistics issue that threatened to derail a major product launch. As Marcus ended the call near the elevator bank, he realized he had forgotten his executive keycard at home in his hurry that morning. Turning back toward the security desk, he saw David approaching with a concerned expression. Instead of simply offering to escort him upstairs as protocol dictated, David spoke quietly in perfect Portuguese, asking if everything was all right and if there was anything he could do to help. Marcus stopped dead in his tracks, staring at David with complete amazement. Not only had David understood every word of the complex business conversation, but his pronunciation and grammar were flawless. It wasn't the basic Portuguese that someone might learn from a phrase book, but the sophisticated language skills of someone truly fluent in the nuances of business terminology. Recovering from his surprise, Marcus responded in Portuguese, asking David where he had learned to speak the language so well. David explained that his grandmother had been Brazilian, and he had grown up bilingual in his household. He mentioned that he had also studied international business and languages in college, but had been unable to find work in his field after graduation. Intrigued, Marcus asked David what other languages he spoke. David seemed hesitant at first, perhaps worried about overstepping professional boundaries, but Marcus encouraged him to continue. David revealed that he was fluent in Spanish, Portuguese, French, German, Italian, Russian, Mandarin Chinese, Arabic, and Japanese. He had learned some through family connections, others during his studies, and several more through his own passionate interest in different cultures and global communication. Marcus was speechless. Here was someone with extraordinary linguistic abilities, working as a security guard in his building, when international companies were desperately searching for qualified multilingual professionals. David explained that despite his language skills and business degree, he had struggled to find opportunities due to lack of professional experience and connections in the corporate world. Most international positions required years of experience that entry-level candidates couldn't obtain without someone giving them a chance. The conversation was interrupted by Marcus's assistant calling down to inform him that the board meeting had been moved up by an hour. As Marcus hurried to the elevator, his mind was racing with possibilities. David's language skills weren't just impressive, they were exactly what Tech Global needed for their ambitious international expansion plans. The company had been struggling to find qualified personnel who could navigate the cultural and linguistic complexities of their target markets. Throughout that entire day, Marcus found himself distracted during meetings, thinking about David and the missed opportunities that existed when talented people were overlooked due to their current circumstances rather than their potential. He realized that his company's human resources practices might be causing them to miss exceptional candidates who didn't fit traditional hiring patterns. That evening, Marcus made a decision that would change both his company's trajectory and David's life forever. He asked his head of human resources to conduct a comprehensive review of their international staffing needs and to prepare a detailed analysis of the language skills required for their upcoming expansion projects. He also requested a complete background check on David Rodriguez, not because he doubted his character, but because he wanted to understand the full scope of his qualifications and potential. Marcus had built his business empire by recognizing opportunities that others missed and by understanding that a company's greatest asset was its people. He had a feeling that David Rodriguez represented exactly the kind of hidden talent that could give Tech Global a significant competitive advantage in the global marketplace. The question now was how to best utilize this discovery in a way that would benefit both David and the company. As Marcus left the office that night, he stopped by the security desk where David was completing his shift. He thanked David for his help that morning and mentioned that they might have some interesting conversations in the future. David smiled warmly and wished him a good evening, unaware that his life was about to change in ways he could never have imagined. The following week, Marcus received the comprehensive report on David Rodriguez that exceeded all his expectations. David had graduated summa cum laude with a degree in International Business and Modern Languages from the University of Washington. His academic record was outstanding, with particular strength in cross-cultural communication, international trade law, and global market analysis. The background check revealed no issues, and his references from professors and previous employers painted a picture of someone with exceptional integrity, work ethic, and intellectual curiosity. More importantly, Marcus discovered that David had been working multiple jobs to support his younger sister through medical school and to help care for his elderly parents. Despite his impressive qualifications, David had taken the security position because it offered stable income and health benefits that his family desperately needed. He had been quietly studying international market trends in his spare time, following global business news in multiple languages, and maintaining his language skills through online communities and international news sources. Marcus realized that David wasn't just multilingual. He was genuinely knowledgeable about global business practices and cultural nuances that could prove invaluable for Tech Global's expansion efforts. The company had been spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on consulting firms and translation services to navigate international markets, when they had someone right in their own building who possessed both the language skills and business acumen they needed. On Wednesday morning, Marcus arrived at his usual early hour and found David at the security desk, as always professional and prepared. This time, however, Marcus had a purpose beyond his normal routine. He approached David and asked if they could have a private conversation after David's shift ended. David agreed, though he seemed puzzled and perhaps a bit concerned about the unusual request from the company's CEO. When they met later that morning in Marcus's office, David was visibly nervous, unsure why he had been summoned to the executive floor. Marcus put him at ease by explaining that he had been impressed by their conversation the previous week and wanted to learn more about David's background and aspirations. He encouraged David to share his story, his educational background, and his long-term career goals. David opened up about his journey, explaining how he had always been fascinated by different cultures and languages from a young age. His diverse family background had exposed him to multiple languages naturally, but his passion for communication had driven him to master additional languages through dedicated study. He had dreamed of working in international business, helping companies bridge cultural gaps and expand into global markets. However, David admitted that after graduating, he had faced numerous rejections from international firms who wanted candidates with professional experience, which created a frustrating cycle where he couldn't gain experience without someone giving him an opportunity. The security job had provided stability when his family needed it most, and while it wasn't his dream career, he had found dignity and purpose in his work, maintaining his language skills and continuing to learn about global business trends in his personal time. Marcus listened intently, recognizing in David's story the same determination and resilience that had driven his own success. He then shared his vision for Tech Global's international expansion and the challenges they faced in finding qualified personnel who could effectively communicate and operate across diverse cultural and linguistic environments. He explained that the company was planning to establish new partnerships in Southeast Asia, expand manufacturing operations in Eastern Europe, and develop new markets in South America and Africa. Then Marcus made an offer that left David stunned. He proposed creating a new position specifically for David, International Communications Coordinator, with responsibilities that would include facilitating communication with overseas partners, conducting cultural competency training for staff, assisting with international negotiations, and helping develop culturally appropriate marketing strategies for different regions. The position would come with a substantial salary increase, comprehensive benefits, and opportunities for international travel and professional development. David was overwhelmed by the unexpected opportunity, but also concerned about his qualifications for such a significant role. Marcus reassured him that while the position would be challenging, the company would provide additional training and support to help him succeed. He emphasized that David's unique combination of language skills, cultural knowledge, and business education made him exactly the right person for this role. Marcus also revealed his broader vision for David's career development. If David proved successful in the initial role, there would be opportunities for advancement to senior international business positions, potentially including regional management roles in Tech Global's overseas operations. The company was committed to investing in David's professional growth because they recognized his exceptional potential. The conversation continued for over 2 hours, as Marcus and David discussed the specific responsibilities of the new role, the company's international strategies, and David's ideas for improving cross-cultural business relationships. Marcus was impressed by David's thoughtful questions and innovative suggestions, confirming his instinct that David possessed not just language skills, but genuine business intelligence and strategic thinking ability. David accepted the position with gratitude and excitement, but also with a deep sense of responsibility. He understood that this was an extraordinary opportunity and was determined to prove worthy of Marcus's faith in him. They agreed that David would start his new role in 2 weeks, giving him time to complete his security duties properly and allowing the company to prepare his new workspace and responsibilities. News of David's promotion spread quickly through Tech Global, creating a buzz of positive excitement among employees who had known him as the friendly, professional security guard. Many colleagues expressed admiration for both David's hidden talents and Marcus's willingness to recognize and reward merit regardless of someone's current position. The story became an inspiring example of how opportunities could emerge when people remained open to recognizing talent in unexpected places. Marcus used David's story as a catalyst for reviewing the company's entire approach to talent development and hiring practices. He initiated programs to identify and develop overlooked talent within the organization, established mentorship opportunities for employees seeking career advancement, and created pathways for internal promotion that valued potential and dedication alongside traditional qualifications. As David prepared to transition from security guard to international communications coordinator, he reflected on how a single conversation in Portuguese had transformed his life. He was grateful for the opportunity, but understood that the real work was just beginning. The next phase would test whether he could translate his knowledge and skills into practical business results that would justify Marcus's bold decision to invest in his potential. David's first 6 months in his new role exceeded everyone's expectations, including his own. His impact on Tech Global's international operations was immediate and measurable. The company's expansion into Southeast Asia, which had been struggling due to communication barriers and cultural misunderstandings, suddenly accelerated when David began facilitating negotiations with potential partners in Thailand, Vietnam, and Indonesia. His ability to conduct business in native languages eliminated the delays and misinterpretations that had plagued previous negotiations. More importantly, David's understanding of cultural nuances helped Tech Global avoid potentially costly mistakes in marketing and business practices that could have offended local customs or violated cultural expectations. His insights saved the company from several embarrassing situations that could have damaged relationships with international partners. The most dramatic success came during a critical negotiation with a major electronics manufacturer in South Korea. Tech Global had been trying to establish a partnership for over 2 years, but talks had repeatedly stalled due to miscommunication and cultural barriers. When David joined the negotiation team, speaking fluent Korean and demonstrating deep respect for Korean business etiquette, the atmosphere changed completely. The Korean executives were impressed by Tech Global's commitment to understanding their culture, and within 3 weeks they signed a partnership agreement worth over $50 million. Marcus watched David's progress with satisfaction and pride. But he was also planning the next phase of David's career development. He enrolled David in an executive MBA program, with the company covering all expenses and providing flexible scheduling to accommodate his studies. Marcus also arranged for David to spend time in different departments of the company, learning about operations, finance, marketing, and strategic planning from senior executives. David's reputation within the company grew rapidly as colleagues sought his expertise for international projects. His former security colleagues watched his transformation with admiration and inspiration, seeing proof that hard work, dedication, and hidden talents could be recognized and rewarded. David never forgot his humble beginnings and maintained close relationships with employees at all levels of the organization. The international communications program that David developed became a model for other corporations seeking to improve their global operations. He created cultural sensitivity training modules, established communication protocols for international teams, and developed a network of local cultural advisors in key markets. Major business schools began inviting him to speak about cross-cultural business communication, and industry publications featured articles about his innovative approaches to international partnership development. 2 years after his promotion, Marcus offered David an even more significant opportunity: Vice President of International Operations, overseeing Tech Global's business activities in all foreign markets. The promotion came with a substantial salary increase, stock options, and responsibility for a team of over 200 employees across multiple continents. At 37, David had progressed from security guard to senior executive in less than 3 years. David's success story became legendary within Tech Global and the broader business community. It demonstrated the transformative power of recognizing talent regardless of its current circumstances and investing in people's potential rather than just their existing credentials. Marcus frequently shared David's story in interviews and conferences, emphasizing that exceptional talent could be found anywhere if leaders remained open to recognizing and developing it. The impact extended beyond individual success to organizational transformation. Tech Global's international revenues grew by over 300% during David's first 3 years in leadership roles, making the company one of the most successful global technology firms. The cultural competency and communication excellence that David brought to their international operations created sustainable competitive advantages that competitors struggled to match. David's approach to international business emphasized building genuine relationships based on mutual respect and cultural understanding, rather than simply pursuing transactional exchanges. This philosophy resonated with partners worldwide and established Tech Global's reputation as a trusted and culturally sensitive international partner. Companies in emerging markets specifically sought partnerships with Tech Global because of their reputation for respectful and effective cross-cultural collaboration. Marcus's decision to promote David also influenced his personal leadership philosophy and succession planning. He established mentorship programs throughout the company, created pathways for unconventional career advancement, and implemented policies that encouraged managers to look for talent in unexpected places. The David Rodriguez Standard became shorthand within Tech Global for the principle that potential mattered more than pedigree. 5 years after their first conversation in Portuguese, Marcus announced that David would be his successor as CEO when Marcus retired in 2 years. The board of directors unanimously supported the decision, recognizing David's exceptional performance, international expertise, and leadership capabilities. David's journey from overnight security guard to future CEO became one of the most remarkable corporate success stories of the decade. David never forgot the importance of that first conversation with Marcus or the power of being recognized for his abilities rather than his circumstances. As he prepared to lead Tech Global into its next phase of growth, he committed to continuing Marcus's legacy of discovering and developing talent wherever it might be found. He established scholarship programs for multilingual students, created internship opportunities for first-generation college graduates, and implemented hiring practices that valued diverse backgrounds and unconventional paths to success. The security desk in Tech Global's lobby became a symbol of possibility and opportunity within the company. New employees were told David's story as part of their orientation, learning that excellence could emerge from any position and that every person in the organization had the potential to contribute something extraordinary. David occasionally visited the security desk, chatting with current guards and encouraging them to pursue their dreams while taking pride in their current responsibilities. Marcus's gamble on David Rodriguez had paid dividends beyond anything he could have imagined, transforming not just one person's life, but an entire company's culture and approach to human development. The story became a powerful reminder that in a world focused on credentials and traditional qualifications, the most valuable discoveries often came from paying attention to the people right in front of us and recognizing that extraordinary potential could exist in the most ordinary circumstances. Years later, when business schools taught case studies about innovative leadership and talent development, the story of Marcus Chen and David Rodriguez stood as a testament to the transformative power of seeing people for who they could become rather than simply who they appeared to be at first glance.